Last night, I prepared my wife a 7-course meal, Temba boasted to his friends. Wow, exclaimed Mandla. What did that entail? A hot dog and a 6-pack of beer. Good evening and welcome to Talk with Rams Live. We are coming to you live on Facebook, Instagram, and we also post on YouTube. Talk with Rams Live is brought to you by Kana Coffee, the most delicious and best tasting coffee with extreme health benefits. Manufactured by the Kana Coffee Company, this coffee has potent, creamy, and long-lasting flavors, which are low in acidity and delightfully romantic. To buy Kana Coffee or acquire the Kana Coffee franchise, call 082-730-4112. Now, finally, we have found a way to bring you a feature that made the original Talk with Rams popular with hustlers. Every Tuesday on Metro FM, I would give 30 seconds to SMEs to advertise their businesses on the show for free, which didn't make me popular with the powers that be. I'm glad to say that the opportunity is now back on this platform, which makes me happy because Talk with Rams Live reports only to Freddie, so he didn't say no. But since this is a visual medium, we want video clips, not voice notes. Just turn the phone to yourself. In 60 seconds, tell us about your business, what it does, and give us the contact details. Then WhatsApp that clip to 067-271-8239, and we will play it here for you on this platform for free. So watch this.
We know it's a tough time for all entrepreneurs, so let's lend a hand. Talk with Rams Live gives you an opportunity to advertise your business. Send us a 60-second video describing your business to 067-271-8239.
Good day, my name is Bongitele.
Sani Manani, everyone,
This is Batabile Mureki.
Hi, my name's Alon Reyes.
Or else, uzoitola kanjani?
So it is as easy as that. Record yourself, send us the clip at 067-271-8239. It is the least we can do to support SMEs. Now, I know you have goals. I know you make them every year. Most of the time, you make them at the beginning of the year, like all of us. But I know, like most of us, you don't attain most of those goals for whatever reason. How can you make them attainable? Well, I'll tell you how. I've got the doctor in the house, and I mean the doctor literally and figuratively. Dr. Thando Sibanda, our Motivation Monday resident guest, our personal development coach, is here to help us with building blocks for attainable goals. Good evening, Dr. T, and welcome again to this Motivation Monday.
Good evening, Rams. I'm very excited to be here, my brother. How are you doing, man?
I'm dark and lovely, Dr. T. Thank you for asking. How are you?
No, I'm super. I'm also dark and lovely. I think I'll adopt that for myself.
I may have to charge you for copyright infringement, but we can talk about it off air. Dr. T, I'm going to ask you, because there are things we take for granted, and I want us to not take anything for granted. What is a goal?
All right. That's a very powerful question because it's important that we clarify that in terms of just our internal representation mechanism. Right, a goal is a target. It's an objective, it's an aim, it's an end. It's a very specific outcome to whatever the thinking thought is. So yeah, it's a target, it's an objective, it's an end.
So it is critical in our lives because it's an objective towards an end that we so much here.
Oh yes, absolutely. You see, Rams, goals keep us moving. They give us a sense of relevance, a sense of achievement, a sense of purpose. So anyone who has it in them or who has a will or a desire to succeed must have the ability to set goals and to follow up on them. See, because without goals, you lack focus, you lack direction. See, goal setting not only allows you to take control of your life's direction, but it also provides you with a benchmark to see, am I actually succeeding in that which I've set out to do? So it's very, very important to have a goal.
What are then the building blocks, Dr. T, for attainable goal setting? And I want to emphasize attainable, so that we stay in the realm of achieving something, not just to, I don't want to wake up and have a goal to I don't know, to build an aircraft when I don't even have metric. But that's another matter for another day. What are the building blocks for attainable goals?
I appreciate that. The key word there is attainable. It's really attainable because there's a certain matrix, there's a certain internal matrix that needs to be in place for us to be able to set attainable goals. In fact, the most important thing, Rem, that we're going to talk about tonight are the mental starting blocks. Starting blocks are some of the most important. We never realize it. I'm sure you've seen when they run the Olympics, the 4 by 100 meter relay, or the 100 meters or the 200 meters. The athletes, they go on that 45-degree angle, and they are blocks that are put just next to their feet. Those blocks are very critical, because the blocks give you the lift you need, the blocks give you the force you need, the blocks become the generating framework for the speed that you need to get out towards your goal. So sometimes it's not even the speed that you have running for the goal. No, it's what are the blocks? How good are the blocks? Are you able to take off from the blocks? So that's what we're going to talk about, because in our mental blocks, we've got these mental starting blocks that are very important if we are going to achieve our goals, that need to be in place. This is where we internally commit ourselves to the goal. It happens before any physical activity towards your goal is taken. It's almost where you sort of do the internal sign off. This is where you commit yourself and say, you know what, I'm going to go on this journey. But certain things need to be in place so that you become effective. Let me give you the first one. I'm going to share a number of them. Let me give you the first one. Right. There needs to be a clear destination matrix. The worst thing that people can do is to go through life. I call it being pushed by the chronos. See, chronos is simply an expanse of time. By definition, it's got no beginning, no end. That's why you go from seconds to minutes, from minutes to hours, hours to days, days to months, months to years, years to centuries, then to epoch and to epochs, and then to eons of time. So it's time and unregulated. Some people are pushed by the calendar, by the days, and there is no purpose to that. Yet when you come into this subconscious framework of goal setting, you need a clear destination matrix. This is my aim. This is my target, well-defined, well-scoped. This is my objective. This is my end. Maybe I want to get an MBA. I want to buy a car. I want to finish this project. I want to build a home. I want to learn a skill. Whatever it is, it must be clear. You've got to be very clear. That destination matrix is critical. That's why I'm saying that some people live almost without purpose. They have no purpose because they have no goals. Remember, I said in the beginning, goals bring purpose into our lives. They bring focus, they bring direction into our lives. Without that, if you meet a man without a goal, you've met a man who's simply being pushed by the chronos. You're just a cell going through time, waiting to become extinct.
Wow. So in simple terms, Dr. T, we should liken it to getting into a car. We never get into a car without knowing our destination, is it? We know we get into a car because we have a destination in mind already.
Absolutely, absolutely. That point of a destination is key. You see, it plays out everywhere. Relationships without goals don't go far. Businesses without goals don't go far. Why don't we actually think about that for individuals? Individuals without goals don't go far. Because whatever comes, comes. Whatever happens, happens. You have no purpose whatsoever.
So what's the second one, Dr. T?
Right. The second one is what I call the clear reason of cause. You see, you've got to justify within yourself for your own a sense of achievement. Why is this journey important to my goal? Why? You need to justify that clear reason, of course. Why should I take the journey? Then when you start answering that question, why do I need to probably, let me say maybe, why do I need to finish my BA? Why do I need to pass matric? It's because maybe I feel like I'm failing myself and I'm failing others. You see, the moment you have got that clear reason, of course, as to why that journey to your goal is important, then you get into the next level, which is the third point. You get into what I call the clear nomination of self. This is where you nominate yourself and say, I'm the only one who can fulfill this goal, and I'm the only one who can do this for what I want to achieve. It's my journey, it's no one else's journey. You remember that story, Rams, about where they say nothing was done because nobody thought everyone would do it, and in the end, you see, there was no nomination of self.
So Dr. T, I can never subcontract my goals to somebody else.
No, the responsibility of the goal is yours.
Yes.
The responsibility is yours. Now, you can bring in some help in terms of expanding capacity, but the responsibility of the goal, it's almost like, going to the bathroom. People can only take you as far as the door, Beyond that, it's your responsibility.
It is
so
actually,
goals
it is a serious
are like
pity,
that.
Dr. T. The bathroom metaphor
sir.
is a serious pity in the winter, because sometimes I really wish I could nominate somebody in the winter to do it for me.
Indeed, my brother. But you see that clear nomination of self, it puts the responsibility squarely on you. Squarely on you. If a lot of our young people could actually undertake that and have the clear nomination of self. I remember one day I was speaking to one of the Mandela Road scholars, a friend of mine, and she said, one thing that really shifted my mindset is when we went on this teaching cohort. They would bring all of them together, these scholars from all over Africa. So it's on the first day, then they give you this candle, and you've got to light the candle, and then you light the candle in a dark room, and then the room starts to come alive. Says, as I held that candle, I nominated, they say it's okay for it to be you that becomes the light in your dark world. Says it was such an amazing moment where I clearly nominated myself and said, you know what, I'm the only one. It's okay that I take this responsibility and I move forward. So it's critically important that even when it comes to goals, you take the responsibility upon yourself and say, you know what, maybe no one else in my family has attained this. I'm going to be the first one. It's okay. No one in my family has been to college. I'll be the first one. No one in my family has owned their own car or their own land. I will be the first one. That clear nomination of self clarifies a lot of things, and it's an important block for starting off towards your goal.
Dr. T, human beings are formations of ego. We are creatures of ego. Would it help in my goals to also have as motivation, as a block, as you call them, as a block, a clear reward in mind, something that's going to make me feel great personally?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You see, here is the power of having a clear reward matrix, if I may call it. Once you need to define the reward for yourself. What will the reward be? Sometimes it's always the feeling I will have the day I accomplish this, or the feeling I will have the day I'm holding the qualification and everyone is clapping. That feeling releases some reward chemicals in your body. You've got your serotonin, you've got your oxytocin. It releases some really feel good endorphins, and that may as well be what gives you a lot of energy for your starting blocks. So when you know that, my God, the day I walk into my own house, no longer renting, no longer dealing with a mastanda, no longer dealing with drama, my own house with my own key, you can literally feel the joy. And then that becomes what I call the clear reward matrix, and you can tap into that energy even before you get on the journey. It's a very positive thing. It gives you satisfaction and a great sense of achievement.
So on Instagram, Benny Mafaisa asks, and it leads me to the next building block or the matrix, Dr. T. He asks, what does one do when faced with distractions that derail you from your goals? And for me, it leads to the issue of consequence.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's important to have a clear consequence analysis. So when you are planning, when you are thinking about your goal, a lot of people don't think about a consequence analysis. That's why they say that thieves are the weirdest of people. You know, you plan to go and break into someone's house and you don't bring in the consequence matrix. To say I could get caught and go to jail for 10 years. You see, that could help you think things differently. So that clear consequence analysis or that clear, it will help. What will be the consequence of failure to achieve the goal? You see?
Yes.
It's important for you to actually reason that out and write out what the feelings are. Someone will say, well, I would continue to feel like I have failed. I would be unhappy. I would feel incomplete. We call it in psychology, we call it chunking down. Once you start chunking down, remember, human beings are built to embrace pleasure and avoid pain. So the clear consequence analysis takes you on a chunk down a strata where you are starting to realize, my God, I don't want to feel this way. I don't want to be seen that way. I don't want to be that guy who started and never finished. I don't want to be. The moment you've got a clear consequence analysis of your failure to reach your goal, believe me, when you get going, you will make sure that you will do whatever you can to avoid that feeling, that consequence feeling. It's very important.
I don't want to give people an excuse, Dr. T, and we should run away from excuses. But in real life, sometimes obstacles happen. What do we do then? How do we deal with that part?
Oh, very, very, very good question, Rams. It is important. It's critical. It's imperative, to actually have what we call also a clear obstacle analysis. See, again, this is what I was talking, and those 2 points are very related. So number one, you tell yourself, if I fail, these are the consequences in terms of how I'm gonna my self-concept. I don't want to be that person. But then look at the path that you want to take towards your goal and have a solid analysis of obstacles. What obstacles stand in the way for me to achieve or to go towards my goal? Maybe it's issues of time management. Maybe I'm very bad with time management. I sit here and tell people this is going to take 2 minutes, and I get caught up on social media for an hour while sitting trying to do whatever I'm doing. What's the issue? Is it family and friends? Sometimes, a lot of us put family and friends first when that is not important. See, when you have a goal, you can tell people, Papa, I can't take visitors right now, or no, I can't make it to your party. I've got this, I've got that to do. You've got to put yourself first. I was saying to one of my coaching clients, by the way, that selfishness is not entirely a bad thing. See, we always embrace selflessness and forget that a little bit of selfishness is important for your own self-preservation. So when I have a goal that I need to achieve, right now I'm writing a book and I'm also studying with Harvard University. It's important that I become selfish with my time, because if I am not, then my lack of selfishness will become an obstacle. So I need to be very frank and say, you know what, my friends are a problem, family are a problem, my habits are a problem. Once you do that clear obstacle analysis, then you can engage the help that you need. There's nothing as powerful as mentally solving a problem before it presents itself. You know very well when this happens, this will be the strategy. Never leave yourself for the moment to say, I'm going to make a decision when I get to the moment. That saying we say in Africa, Rams, we will cross that bridge when we get there. A lot of times there is no bridge when we get there, and we can't cross.
Dr. T, I'm going to make sure we finish tonight. There's no take two.
Okay.
Next week we do something different. So let's move to the next point. And my next point to you is, what capacity do I need to achieve my goal?
Right. It's very important. Again, you see, look at all the guys that really are great at achieving their goals. they do what is called a capacity assessment or a capacity analysis, right? There you are answering the question, what capacity do I have to deliver on my goal? And I'm talking here both internal and external capacity. So say, for example, in terms of internal capacity, you need discipline. Anyone and everyone should be able to bring discipline to the table, especially when you have a goal to achieve. Time, hard work. Everybody should be able to do the time. Some things, you see, something powerful about work, Rams, is that we need to understand work is something that will not go away until it is done. You know, so sons and daughters need to understand that your work won't go away until you actually do it. So that capacity analysis will bring in the hard work, you know, bring it. Then another one is self-belief. You've got to have the self-belief that you are able to do it, that you are the self-nominated person to do it. That's one. Then secondly, look at the external capacity analysis. What tools do I need for my goal? You know, do I need to engage teamwork? Do I need to ask for help? You will be shocked, by the way, whenever we do an assessment in a coaching thing. There's what I call the P15 under the hood, where one of the questions is, how easy is it for you to ask for help? Do you know probably 80% of the people struggle with asking for help? We think there's something wrong with saying, I don't know. Can you please help me here? Can you please help me there? So people do badly in their jobs because we just can't ask for help. It's simply because we don't do a clear capacity analysis.
Okay, I got you, Dr. T.
Lovely.
Although, as I say, most of the time I speak to you, I really regret because I feel like you get personal. But let's continue. Do we, as people, Dr. T, make goals but suffer from the commitment to those goals?
Hey, you see, commitment is very important. And a lot of times we take commitment as a very easy relational word. You know, someone said, well, the next time you eat bacon, know that the chicken was bacon and egg. The chicken was involved, but the pig was committed. You know, commitment. Yeah, yes, the pig was committed to give you the bacon. You know, sometimes you've got to lay everything else down. And that commitment assessment, ask your question, how committed am I to the goal? And that's where you align your willpower. Whatever I do, I need to make sure that I get this done. Why is that important? Because remember, your resolve will always be tested. I call them distractions. They are called distractions. Distractions are all of these enticements that want to shift your attention from the goal. And distractions are not always negative. No. Sometimes the distractions are good, but you are aiming for the great, you see? So if you are aiming for great, you've got to let go of good.
Oh, Dr. T, I gotta interrupt you here because you answered a question that I was gonna send to you that somebody asked on Instagram. Somi asked, and you've just answered it. I'm so glad. He says, how do you differentiate distractions that are disguised as opportunity? I think you just answered it.
Oh, absolutely.
Opportunity may be good, but you're aiming for great. So we stick with the great.
Yes, a lot of times we get to embrace, no, the distraction was good. No, it looked like a good opportunity. It looked like a good thing to do. But guess what? That's not what you set out to do. What you set out to do is greatness. They say good things come to those who wait, but greatness you've got to go and get yourself.
Wow.
So
the next one, Dr. T.
Yeah. The next one is a strategy, a very clear strategy analysis. This is the how-to factor. You need to have a well thought out strategy on the how to do it. That how to do it, Rams, is very critical because this is the direction. This is where now you are lifting yourself up and you are going in a specific direction. Remember, I said that strategy is very important. If you want to go to Durban, you know, via the N3, the N1 to Polokwane is not the way to go. If you find yourself in Hammanskraal and you set out saying, I'm going to Durban, there's something wrong with that strategy. So it's very important, work from where you want to go and then come working it backwards. Like what we do when we put together a theory of change. A theory of change, you must start with your intended impact, then you come back to your goals, then you come back to your outcomes, then you come back to your outputs, then you come back to your inputs and your activities. So you must always work backwards so that your strategy has a lot of clarity and it's very precise in terms of where you want to go. A strategy analysis is very important. A lot of us don't want to think, by the way, Rams, you know why? Because we've got this challenge mentally. Because remember, thinking is a very involving act. It takes a lot of brain and oxygen from in your neocortex to think. So we'd rather spend time chilling in our subconscious mind. And that's why we procrastinate, because to actively engage the thinking process takes a lot of energy. So strategy is a critical neocortex function where we are saying, this is how I'm going to do it. And it's important to have that.
So a lot of times when I engage my clients, Dr. T, and we start to negotiate the fee. So I ask them, how are you going to feel when you achieve what you want to achieve? When you reach that destination that you want me to take to? And I see them smile.
Yeah.
Destination that is, because then at that point I find it so easy to say to them, you see, that's why you need to pay me, because I'm going to get you to that destination.
Oh, amen to that. You see, that smile is what we call oxytocin. That smile is what could be serotonin. You know, it's all these feel good, these reward chemicals, where someone, through the faculty of their imagination, can transpose themselves from the present and fly over all the impossibilities and obstacles and arrive at the intended destination. And I will tell you one thing, that feeling is real, that smile is real. It's not fake because you've not arrived there. No, your subconscious mind gives it to you as it is. And that's always an important thing. Remember, oxytocin is a bonding chemical. So a mother, a childbirth releases oxytocin and it bonds them to their baby. You know, whatever happens, they can't ignore their baby. It's like that. When your clients smile, when you create a clear destination matrix, they bond with their goal. Because they feel what they are going to feel. That's a very powerful thing.
Does it make them recommit to the goal? Does it make them, in their space to say, this is still worth it then?
Yes. In fact, it takes them into a psychological and cognitive process where they ask themselves subconsciously, is it worth it? And they answer and say, of course it is worth it. Of course it is worth it. It is worth it to do this. It is worth it to go this route. Guess what? It's amazing how much sacrifice or even suffering human beings will take as long as the destination matrix is positive in their mind.
I wanted to move to the next part, but I want to ask this question from one of our followers.
Right.
How says, we were taught to have higher goals. Is it impossible to aim beyond one's capacity? Breaking one's own ceiling is not an option, or is it an option?
Look, my point is, have a goal, but then surprise yourself. You see, have a goal, but surprise yourself. You see, if you can hit the goal and go beyond, allow yourself that joy. Because otherwise, if you are always aiming to break the goal, you are now overextending yourself in terms of your subconscious framework. Have an attainable goal, go for it. Then when you break it, it's amazing. I'm sure you saw in the 4x100 meter relay 2012 London Olympics, Jamaica breaking their own previous record and setting a new world record. You see, now that was amazing because when they went there, they won they were going there to win. But over and above that, they then broke their previous record. So now the joy was double. The joy was double. If they had gone there saying we want to break the record and then they win but don't even get close, they wouldn't have been excited. So set a goal that you can achieve and then surprise yourself. It's going to be an amazing thing when you actually do over what you think.
So as I set an attainable goal, Dr. T, do I have to set a definite date for the finalization?
Oh, absolutely. There must be a finalization date for the goal. You see, otherwise, it's what we call perpetual goals. Perpetual goals are, we will get there when we get there. I've heard people talk like that. I disappear very quickly from their presence. You know, people
So
say we'll get there when we get. Sorry?
So what phambili, Dr. T?
Yeah. So what phambili kanjani when there is no destination? There has got to be a finalization date to say by this date, this needs to be done. What that does is that it helps you create pace. You see, on your goal run, you need to pace yourself well. How do you pace yourself well? You pace yourself well through these goals, these short-term goals, and through these demarcations that you set yourself. So knowing that there is a specific deadline allows you to pace yourself. You know, I need to move faster here, or I can afford to kind of slow down. But very clear, have a clear buy-in commitment, a finalization date for your goal.
Dr. T, I find that we succeed more in school, whatever school it is. It could be university, it could be primary school, because there is somebody who gives us work and we need to account to them. Does it also matter in our goals to have that person in our lives?
Yes. I call them the umpire matrix. You need to have a clear umpire matrix. Who's going to be an umpire? You know when you are playing, whether you're playing tennis, there's that guy who sits high there. And it's the guy who says it's a shot, it's a point, it's not a point. Sometimes people get angry at the umpire, but it's important that you have someone who will become an umpire between you and your goal. So that you can be accountable. Who will you be accountable to? It's important to have an accountability partner if you are going to get to your goal, and you need someone you respect to hold you accountable. The problem, or rather the challenge, Rams, and the reason why a lot of us don't get to where we want to go is because we do not have an umpire. We become our own umpires. And the danger with that is that you are always able to negotiate an extension with yourself. You wake up in the morning, you know you need to go and run. You're like, it's cold, man. Hey, I'll run later. So you negotiate with yourself, and now you are moving the duties, so for your goal. And so it's important, get somebody that will hold you accountable to your weekly goals, your monthly goals, to your milestones. And there needs to be a proper reporting system that assesses progress, that looks at what are the obstacles, what are the challenges, how can we move forward. You must have an umpire if you are going to achieve your goals.
And finally, Dr. T, what would you say is the most important part of achieving, of attaining your goals? What is the most important one, Dr. T?
When all is done, Rams, when you've done everything I've said, all of these 13 points, the last thing I'm going to say is then take the first step. Nothing beats the doing. Nothing beats the saying, you know what, let me then get up and tomorrow I'm going to call so-and-so, I'm going to write an email, I'm going to start strategizing, I'm going to put things together, I'm going to get going towards my goal. Sometimes all you need to do is to get going. The rest of the things start sorting themselves as you go, as you move, as you go in the direction of your goal. Remember, I've said that it's not all doors that are locked. Some are simply closed on account of the weather, Rams. If only people could take that first step, a lot of doors would open.
My own mentor, Dr. T, once said to me, the secret of great men and women in the world is starting. Says those guys who you see out there, billionaires and stuff, all they did, the biggest secret is that they started. So start now. So thank you so much, Dr. T. We make the first step, guys, from this moment. Now, Thando asked a long question about, goals and distractions. We're not going to respond to that because you have responded to that. All I'm going to say to Thando is that we are a live program, Thando. If you come in 2 minutes before the end, you are most likely to come in when we have already answered your query. I'm going to beg you, don't treat us like a newspaper that you can refer to later. It's a live program. If you don't come in at 7:30, you miss out on stuff. So Dr. T has answered your question. I'm going to ask you to go back to the broadcast when we end, re-watch it, and you will get your answers. But thank you for joining us. I appreciate that you still join us. You probably were distracted by something towards your great goal, which is watching this show. So stay with the show. Don't move away from this goal. Wonderful, always having you, Dr. T. Thank you so much for tonight.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure, my brother. It's a pleasure. I always enjoy being here. Thank you so much.
Have a great evening. And thank you so much to all of you who joined us tonight. I hope it was helpful. I hope you start tonight, not even tomorrow, even if it's just one step. Remember, even if you don't achieve the goal, it is an achievement to start. There will be something to track on. People will say, you had started the foundation. If we don't know about it, you did not start. I don't like ending on a somber note, but I wanted to pay a bit of tribute to a man I got to know very briefly, who passed on tonight, Kaunda Ntunja, the voice that most of you got to know as the closer commentator of rugby. He fell tonight. He was a great man. May his soul rest in peace, Kaunda. You are a star, you are a giant. Tomorrow is Opportunity Tuesday, and I swear to you, this opportunity we bring to you tomorrow is priceless. Even though the people who bring it to us have told us it's worth millions, I say it's priceless. You do not want to miss it. 7:30 p.m. as usual, Talk with Rams. We shall see you tomorrow evening from me, Rams. Good night and God bless.
We know it's a tough time for all entrepreneurs, so let's lend a hand. Talk with Rams Live gives you an opportunity to advertise your business. Send us a 60-second video describing your business to 067 271 8239.
Good day, my name is Bongitsele.
Sanibonani, ngontombi ezinhle wakaModisa.
Everyone, this is Thando Sibanda.
Hi, my name's Alon Reyes.
Or else, uzoitola kanjani? We know it's a tough time for all entrepreneurs, so let's lend a hand. Talk with Rams Live gives you an opportunity to advertise your business. Send us a